Hey y'all, welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. Hey, we got some projects going on in the meat bird barn and wanted to show you what's happening around here. We need to be getting some things picked up and cleaned up and organized. So that's kind of the main thing that we're working on today. We actually also this morning acquired another freezer to store the poultry that we produce from our meat bird operation. I'm going to let y'all take a look at this. We got it out of the box and we were so excited to get this other freezer here, and then the letdown, we were kind of disappointed. It actually has some damage to it. Not damage that's going to cause a problem. We discussed it. I think we're just gonna keep it, but we did add a freezer to be able to store our poultry that we produce. So we already have the big one there is probably at least as big as this one. This one's a 22 cubic foot, so I'd say that one is as well. And I think we figured up one time, well, I can't really remember what these were. I want to say 7 cubic foot, but I might have that wrong. These are the boxes that our poultry processor packages our meat in. So they're really nice, like waxed kind of double walled cardboard boxes, and they'll put a label on there for us, whatever's in that box, with our farm name on it. So that resembles our custom label that actually goes on our chicken. This was a box of whole chickens for us that totaled 43.5 pounds in the box, all the whole chickens in that box together. Chicken feet, I don't think they had a weight. Yeah, 30, there was 30 pounds of chicken feet in that box. So those are the boxes we get. So they're great actually to reuse for clients' orders. So the bulk orders, you know, we can package them back. We can remove our farm label from the processor, from the box itself, and we can package a client's order back up in those and repurpose them that way. And then if we have extra, you know, we offer them to people if they need boxes for storage or something. But we added this freezer, but here was the damage on it. So this is brand new. Well, y'all saw the box out there, and we literally just moved it in today, so it's already set in place. So I don't know that I can get it. Yeah, but you can see the damage there. But we are under agreement that everything is still going to seal up fine. Nothing there that's going to impact its functionality. So we're going to go ahead and keep it. It's not worth going through taking it back, waiting another week for another freezer to get here. So we're just going to go ahead and keep that one and add it to our capacity for frozen chicken here. So we had that going on. So the guys got the freezer moved in. In the barn, they added a panel to one of the doorways so that we can have the north doorway totally open. So I'll show you that. And then the project going on now, this is great. They're actually in the midst of it. The project going on now is adding storage for our poultry transport crates. So we use these yellow crates when we go to the processor with live chickens. These chickens are they're 19 days old. This flock we're going to take to the processor at 41 days old. So they're going to be a lot bigger then than they are now. You actually see most of your meat chickens grow in probably the last 8 days. So, you know, basically with meat chickens, these Cornish rock cross meat chickens, they grow fast in the beginning and then they grow faster after that. And you kind of almost see their feed consumption increase about 3 different times during production, during start, grow, and finish. You'll actually see the heaviness of their appetite compound as you go through production. So this is the north doorway of the building, and the panel there that lets air flow through there. You see the 2x6 about halfway in the door opening, the 2x6 at the bottom, and there's some sturdy mesh panel there. That's allowing us to prop these big doors open all day long. And with having that and the south door, we've got this great breeze through here. And then once the sun moves away from this east side of the building, we can open these doors back up. And as long as we're able to leave the west door on this side open as well, we get really great cross breeze, cross ventilation. So we actually also have a large doorway there too. The purpose of that was on this west side would be a vehicle approach. So when we don't have meat chickens in this building, we can actually park trucks in here. And that's why we actually put 2 large door openings on the west side so that you can pull trucks in and out of here. So our oldest son, Owen, he's helping with this project. Our middle son, Wade, he's helping with this project. These guys, great guys to have around. If you're in a pinch and need help, then help you out. And lots of skills. This one's a mechanic, also a CDL driver. This one is a mill worker, and he's preparing to go get technical training in industrial maintenance mechanics. So really excited for these young guys. Our younger son is busy today working on, I think, some hunting projects. So we've had a total of, I think we already had 25 crates. Is that right, Jared? Yeah. We previously had 25 of these crates. They're kind of a significant investment. So we had to wait a little while to be able to increase the number of crates we have, but we had 25 of them, and that I think would allow us to haul, what did that let us, about 200 birds maybe was what that would handle. Wade, help me with the math there. 8 in a crate, 25 crates. Is that 200? Yeah. I think it is. So I think we had capacity to haul like 200 at a time. Well, we've been wanting to work up to these flocks of 400 or so birds. So like in here, there's 429 birds. So when we get out to the end of production and go into the processor, we've got to haul these birds safely, haul live birds safely. So these transport crates are super duper for that. But we need to be able to haul 400 in crates. So we were anxious to increase the number of crates that we have, and finally this summer we went ahead and did that. So we doubled our crate quantity. We actually added 25 more crates to our assets for the little poultry operation. So we now have 50 of those. So this was the storage situation previously on that corner of the building and that corner, and so there's 2 more that can go on that side, but that held the first 25. So then adding 25 more, we can't do the same thing over here because the construction on the north side has the big doors opening in, whereas the construction on the other sides have the big doors opening out. So we were brainstorming where are we going to put them. So we know we can put some more in here, but that was only going to add about 12. So the guys decided this was a great spot in this breezeway, in this attached shed. So I think with that and what we can set back here, we are going to get the 25 new crates into storage here. So Jared's putting this one up here. So real simple, just some screws screwed into the woodwork, and just fasten the crate in there by slipping one of the holes over the screw, and it's going to stay. So that's great. So the guy's got about 14 here. That's perfect because we figured we can hopefully get about 12 there. So we only need to accommodate 25. So that's going to do it. So at any rate, so we'll keep you posted on how this flock is doing. They're actually resting right now. They've been up and ate, and they kind of have their own like circadian rhythm. You know, they'll go eat, drink while they're up, they manure, and then they take a break and rest again. It's kind of cool at this age. It's becoming really obvious which ones are hens and which ones are roosters. We order them straight run. So straight run just means you're going to get hens and you're going to get roosters in the same flock. We just take them as hatched. So if that one will show his face again, that one's definitely a rooster right there, and right there's a hen, and so is this one. So easy way to tell is the comb and the wattles. If you're patient enough to wait until they start to mature a little bit, you can tell very easily the roosters because they differentiate from the hens with prominence in the comb and the wattles, whereas we're not going to see that prominence develop in the comb or the wattles of the hens. So as I mentioned, they are resting right now. Now as the guys work back here, we'll hang in here a couple more minutes on the video, but as the guys work back here, obviously it's going to disturb the birds a little bit. They're going to have to get up and move. We have to work very carefully around them. Having this kind of situation where your starter pen or brooder and your grower pen and your finisher pen is all, you know, like a walk-in where you're amongst the birds is great, but you also have to be really, really careful and try to avoid stepping on a bird, stepping on the bird's toes. That seems like it'd be really easy to do, but they tend to dart right toward your footfall, and so they tend to dart right toward where you're going to put your foot. But what I wanted to mention about them resting is they kind of, like we said, have that circadian rhythm, and then they, in between their periods of activity, they just go and rest. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because of their rapid growth. These birds grow so rapidly, we can take them from start to finish for meat production in 5 or 6 weeks. They grow exponentially faster than their peers' egg production birds. So in order to accommodate that growth rate, they got to do two things. They got to eat a lot and they got to rest a lot. So that's pretty much what we see. So what my husband in the white t-shirt, my oldest son in the navy t-shirt are working on there is establishing a row for storing. So there's their reaction to that. For establishing a row for storing more of those crates. So there we go. So it's going to match. That back wall is just going to match just like that one over there. And actually then what our middle son over there in the gray t-shirt is doing is going ahead and starting to take down these crates that are in the middle of the building, in the middle of the floor space, that are currently making a temporary wall. We want to remove those. I know there's cords in the camera right there, but we want to remove that temporary wall and actually open up this floor space for all of these birds. So we're going to be removing actually those crates for a barrier. So they've figured out one over there isn't hanging well. Jared said the screw needs backed out, but it's going to be great to see these birds get all of this floor space. So we're going to get all these crates off the floor, up on the wall storage. We probably will leave these two on the floor. Those are the only crates on the floor. We're going to leave those two on the floor. The reason for that is it blocks that corner out. And so I guess we don't really talk about it a lot, but something to be mindful of raising meat birds is 90-degree corners in their living space, because they will have a tendency, that's perfect, they will have a tendency to pile up in corners, and if one gets back in that corner, it can actually get piled on and suffocated by the others. And see, they'll do stuff like that one's sticking its head back between that barrier right there. So we'll actually ask those birds to move out of there. We might adjust that, but I will have those two crates left there to block out that corner so we don't have to deal with that 90-degree angle. And similarly up here, even though we have this door coming back and we could take it all the way back to the wall, it doesn't quite meet the short wall barrier that's temporary construction here. So if we moved this doorway, the door on back to the wall, it actually would still leave that 90-degree corner and the birds would pile up in it. So we actually just have a short barrier right there for them. So they're getting those crates up. Jared's making sure he gets the row straight. Measure twice, cut once kind of thing. And they'll get, as we get places there to hang the crates, that'll take care of a place to put these. And this stuff is actually empty boxes from when the birds were shipped here, September 4th, 2024. And those are empty feed sacks from having fed the birds, and look, you can see them coming over here. So our normal routine of disposing of the trash like that is to burn it, but we're having drought conditions in Ohio summer of 24, so there is a total burn ban. So we haven't been burning anything, but we do have that large box from the chest freezer, so we're at least throwing the burn trash into it to let ourselves create this floor space to give to this flock. But they are making their way over, so that's awesome. So Wade, thanks for taking care of getting those things out of here. And then these materials, these supplies, we'll be able to utilize them inside. Oh, there's some that made it right there. So these feeders and waters are going to be utilized in this floor space, and we're going to try to actually, where this short wall is making like a diagonal, I think we're going to try to push it back probably under that set of crates right there, so that it's straight all the way across the front of that building. And so we leave that front space to give us a little bit of storage area and working area. Our water access is back there, but then that gives the birds most of the floor space in the building. And then we're at a point where we're ready to clean up the baby feeder trays, the baby water trays. Those can all be put out of the barn, cleaned up, and stored until the next flock. And actually, we aren't even going to need to use all those the rest of this year, because we just have one more flock of 100 birds that will be raised from the end of October to the beginning of December. So this is our last large flock for 2024. When we get to December 4th, taking our last flock for the year to the processor, we will have started 1,650 Cornish rock cross meat chickens here at our small independent family run poultry operation for the calendar year, and that will conclude our actual production cycles for 2024 with the meat chickens on December 4th. So this flock is really doing good. This is a great time of year in our area to raise meat chickens if you're kind of dependent or at the mercy of the outside temperature. This like end of summer, beginning of fall is kind of a time of year that lines up with the ambient temperature preferences and needs of Cornish rock cross meat chickens. So there's some at the feeder. So they're growing well. We appreciate y'all joining us. So that's the projects helping improve things in the barn today. Getting the crates up, getting those shipping boxes and feed sacks out, and letting the birds have more of the floor space. Thanks for joining us. We sure hope you'll join us again at Twin Oaks Farm Poultry and see how real good chicken is made.